It's 2026, and the film industry is dead. Is what a little pussy boy, little pessimist, little Debbie Downer pussy boy would say. Little pussy, piece of shit, pussy. I don't know what to say. Look, we're halfway through the year, and AI has completely taken over our lives. I see it everywhere, on the train, on my phone, even sometimes in my edits. I hate to admit it. And yet, I'm still here, making shit. And a lot of other young people are too.
Really weird.
And that's what brings me to make this video. Because I just experienced the greatest cinematic doubleheader since Barbenheimer. That's right, you guessed it. I'm talking about Backroom Session. Backroom-ession? Okay, admittedly, the title needs a little bit of work. I'm talking about Backrooms and Obsession, okay? On a random Sunday, I got together with a bunch of friends and we ran Backrooms and Obsession back to back. Unfortunately, there's no photo evidence of this, so you just gotta believe me. And, yeah, I have some thoughts.
No, don't do it!
By the way, if you're new here, hi, I'm Gabe. I apparently have a YouTube channel that I very occasionally post to when I feel so inspired. I'll, crawl out of my cave and just make something, and this is one of those videos. So first up was Backrooms, and going into this and constantly being surrounded by film nerds, I knew a few things. Number one, Kane Parsons is really just a 21-year-old. He's a child, okay? He's breaking literally every stereotype about the Hollywood machine, and he's just way too nonchalant about it.
2 hours of the characters just describing random things from like a billion different plot points that barely mesh together and it becomes a blur.
And honestly, I hadn't even heard of his YouTube channel Kane Pixels before, so I had absolutely no context of the plot of Backrooms. And well, let me tell you, not sure I needed it, because it wouldn't have helped anyways. I left this movie feeling just utterly confused. Visually, it was very cool and interesting, and acting was on point, sound design was awesome, cinematography with these analog VHS oneers was super well done and honored the originals, and yet, I left the theater wondering, what was this movie even about? Now, don't get me wrong, I was fairly stoned at this point, yes, and a good friend of mine, you know who you are, pointed out that there are some aspects of this movie that could be used as an allegory for AI, as it's been integrated into our society, our daily lives, our way of thinking, and how this idea of memory is ingrained into the way that AI generates things. I mean, it's not going to be the pure original thing. It's always going to be some kind of fragment of it. But honestly, that did not come across for me at all. At least not on a first watch. Maybe it's worth watching again. I don't know. My immediate reaction was just, what? Which honestly makes me not want to watch it again because I'm afraid I'm going to have the same exact reaction the second time through. I will say though, watching it in the theater with friends definitely made it more worth it. One of my friends who was there doesn't really watch movies at all.
You know who you are.
And I'm trying to get him more into the experience of actually going out to the movies. And I felt kind of bad after this one when it ended. Like, damn, you're definitely not going to want to come back after this experience. But he seemed to like it, so who am I to judge? Oh, and don't get me started about the random guy in a row behind me that just started chuckling during the climax. Like, this is a little spoilery, so cover your ears. But imagine you're in the theater watching Backrooms and this is what you hear.
Best part. You can eat them.
But the point I'm trying to make here is this. After this somewhat lukewarm experience, I went home and I did my due diligence and I watched some of the YouTube series of Backrooms, and I felt exactly the same. And maybe that was the point. Maybe this movie was meant to have no meaning, no plot, no payoff, and maybe that's the type of movie for you. But it's not for me. Hey, Editor Gabe here, back again. Did you miss me? Hey, listen, real quick, I just wanted to point out that while I was looking for images and stills of Backrooms on this wiki page, I discovered that they had an on-set support dog. And this is him. Or her, I don't care. I love this dog. Let me take it home, please. I mean, this instantly bumps the movie up for me at least 2 spots, right? I mean, maybe even more than Obsession. I'm just gonna say. Anyways, I just wanted to share that with you all. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Back to the video.
I'm your freaky Nikki.
Which brings me to a movie that is absolutely, positively in every single universe for me. And of course here I'm talking about Obsession. You know, the second half of Backrooms Session. Were you not paying attention to the first half of this video? Backrooms Session. Yeah, you know what? The more I say it, the more it's kind of rolling off the tongue. I feel like it's growing on me. Anyways, look, I knew a lot more about this movie going into it. Yes, I knew the plot was about this guy who couldn't confess to his crush, so he breaks the one-wish willow and wishes that she loved him and it backfires, yada, yada, yada. That's not even what I was excited about here. I was excited to see a Curry Barker film on the big screen.
I love the way your clothes smell. You're in the shower. I sneak a sniff. No homo. What?
Now, I've been following That's a Bad Idea, Curry and Cooper's YouTube channel, for quite some time. I always thought their skits were pretty good. I mean, they have that same kind of Key and Peele and Almost Friday TV sensibility, and the comedic timing in their editing is something I strive for in my own work. So I was already expecting this one to be a doozy. What I didn't expect is just how personally tailored this movie is to me. It's got jump scares, it's got comedy, it's got gore, a lot of gore, in a good way. It's got that unsettling movement and cinematography down to a T, the type that makes the hairs on your arms stand up pretty much the entire time. It's got everything you'd want in the payoff to a horror. Really quite the opposite of Backrooms in that regard. And thematically, it touches on this very simple but extremely relatable idea. Be careful what you wish for. I mean, in a world of constant longing for relationships and the absolute hopelessness of some men out there, and that's coming from me, someone who is a self-proclaimed hopeless romantic, the way that the filmmakers portray every single character in this movie is blown out of proportion in the best way. What do I mean by that? Well, our main character, Bear, is this, again, completely hopeless guy who just can't convince himself to confess his feelings to his coworker, Nikki, after she gives him the alley-oop of a fucking lifetime.
Do you like me?
What?
Because if you do, now's the time to tell me.
I mean, I'm bad about this, but even I was cringing my ass off in the first 10 minutes of this movie, seeing their interactions, which I know is exactly what Curry wanted here. Cooper's character, Ian, is the perfect archetype of this untrustworthy friend. You know, the guy who's rooting for you on the surface, but when it comes down to it, he fucked your crush, and he'll wish for $1 billion instead of saving your life. And then, of course, we have Indy Navarrette's character, Nikki, really stealing the show here. I mean, absolutely bone-chilling performance. I know this comes down to the writing as well, but some of the way she was delivering these lines of manipulation, almost forcing Bear to stay with her that night after he makes the wish, it literally gave me some PTSD. Like, Curry has clearly been in one of these types of relationships before, and she sold it so well. And then the occasional snapback moments, very reminiscent of Get Out, but more violent, that's what stuck with me. The sudden change in her facial expressions, showing a completely different person. I mean, you don't get that performance very often in a horror, even in the good ones. I give her flowers for that. Yeah, those ones. And by the end, I was put through this range of emotions, from anxiety to fear to sadness, and yet I found myself laughing, even at the climax. Also, spoilers, by the way, when the filmmakers have built this absolutely horrifying reality, when we know it can only end with death or another counter wish, and then Ian wishes for $1 billion.
I need you to say, I wish my friend Barry. I wish for $1 billion.
Because it's just so well done in the timing and setup and punchline that reminded me so much of their YouTube channel. I feel like I had a shared experience watching Obsession along with any other fans of the channel, because so many of these scenes just felt like more cinematic versions of their skits. I even clocked that in the scene where Bear is on the phone with the One Wish Willow helpline that he's talking to Curry, who seems to take this role in the world of Obsession as this kind of omniscient being that's pulling the strings. I mean, I got out of the theater and my friends who were there with me were honestly pretty disturbed, but I was elated. It felt like such a refreshing experience to see someone like Curry actually make the YouTube skit comedy to horror movie pipeline a reality after Jordan Peele. And honestly, I kind of liked Obsession more than, dare I say it, any of the Jordan Peele movies. There you go. I said it. All right, I said it. The only thing I didn't love about it is kind of how they decided to end it. I mean, you didn't have to show Bear debating on whether to shoot himself in the head for 5 minutes before. Like, we have enough suicide and self-harm and horrors these days. But it didn't bother me too much. It just seemed like they kind of didn't know how to effectively end it without that, which I guess is fair. Obsession for me was everything I'd hoped it would be. And both movies in the Backrooms Obsession experience, although very different, are a sign of life for young filmmakers. We need more movies like this to be funded. I mean, Backrooms got $10 million because for whatever reason, A24 saw Kane Parsons and was like, yep, that's our boy. And Obsession was created front to back for less than $1 million, which in today's standards for feature films is absolutely nothing. Now, I did see online that there was some controversy surrounding the crew and being underpaid and not really expecting the movie to blow up the way it did. And to that I say, look, this is just a reason to keep going. Keep making the movies, okay? I can only imagine Curry's next film is going to be even bigger. Will it be better? Maybe. Honestly, probably not, but at least the whole crew will get royalties, which is pretty sick. Regardless of how this one came out, it is an independent filmmaker's dream. But okay, I'm rambling again. TLDR, Kane Parsons and Curry Barker are the future of filmmaking. They're ushering in the next generation. It could not be more clear-cut to me. And they're showing that these unconventional routes to the industry and national and even global notoriety are possible. So stop complaining and go make shit. That's all I'm gonna say. See you later. See you later. Bye-bye. See ya. See ya. Bye-bye. That's the video. Bye-bye. See ya.